I think today is nothing more than a political sideshow, Mike. Like, let's be real here. The Prime Minister is the Prime Minister of Canada and head of government. The government of Canada today could release the names of members of Parliament who are caught up in foreign interference, unwittingly or not, and they choose not to. Mr. Poilievre's chief of staff has received the security briefing, and the Prime Minister later on in the day said he actually didn't tell him because he didn't need to know. So if the Leader of the Opposition's own chief of staff doesn't need to know this, how is the Leader any different? Would they withhold information from the Prime Minister's chief of staff that they wouldn't give it to the Prime Minister? I think the Liberals thought they were being quite clever with today's maneuver, but I think this is actually going to blow up in their face even more so in the days ahead.
Boy, oh boy, are things about to get interesting. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the reactions that followed the public inquiry on foreign interference that Trudeau was at today. Which, if you happen to miss, the current hot topic, or the bombshell that was dropped by Trudeau, is he claims to have a list of former MPs as well as candidates in the Conservative Party who have ties and are basically liable to foreign interference, as he says it here.
Because I am Prime Minister and privy to all these informations, I have the names of a number of parliamentarians, former parliamentarians and/or candidates in the Conservative Party of Canada who are engaged or at high risk of, or for whom there is clear intelligence around foreign interference.
So he says this, yet just not even 2 minutes prior to this, I believe, he openly said that he doesn't want to get into which political party it was that he found this information about because it's very sensitive stuff, but then just comes out and says it. So I'm confused. Is it sensitive or is it not?
I received what I characterize here as explosive, certainly extremely alarming information around foreign interference into a particular political party. And I directed CSIS to try and, or the intelligence agencies to try and ensure that the opposition parties had the tools to respond to these allegations, or had at least the information that would allow them to do this. I have to be really careful about what I say here because this is all very, very sensitive, and even talking about which party these allegations aimed at is something I'm trying to avoid doing.
And so he literally contradicts himself right there. But after he makes this, I guess, announcement of a sort that it's the Conservative Party and that Pierre Poilievre he still hasn't got his clearance. It's bewildering to him why he hasn't got it. During the inquiry, Pierre made a statement. He released it saying that Trudeau was lying, that he has got clearance, and that even his top chief of staff has got clearance, and nobody has told him anything.
Party lawyer said that politicians from all parties were implicated in foreign interference. But that revelation was just a prelude to slamming Pierre Poilievre for refusing the top secret security briefing in which Poilievre might learn the names of those Conservative parliamentarians.
It is so egregious to me that the leader of the official opposition, who is certainly trying very hard to become Prime Minister, is choosing to play partisan games with foreign interference.
But Conservatives say it is Trudeau who is playing partisan games. Poilievre issued a statement while Trudeau was still on the stand saying that Poilievre did in fact receive a classified briefing Monday from CSIS and from Trudeau's National Security and Intelligence Advisor, or NSIA. Now, that Monday briefing was about foreign interference by India, but neither CSIS nor the NSIA said anything to Poilievre about Conservative politicians. Poilievre also said that his chief of staff, Ian Todd, has the requisite top secret security clearance, and that even though Todd has had several briefings with the NSIA, Todd has never been told either about any Conservatives implicated in foreign interference.
Yet again, if you were actually watching the inquiry, Trudeau likes to spin another tale where he was saying that nobody has got the clearance, nobody on Pierre's team has got the clearance, and they won't know anything because of this.
And I have directed CSIS and others to try and inform the Conservative Party leader to be warned and armed to be able to make decisions that protect the integrity of that party, of its members, from attempts at activities around foreign interference. And the decision by the leader of the Conservative Party to not get those classified briefings means that nobody in his party, not him, and nobody in a position of power knows the names of these individuals and can take appropriate action.
Now I'm guessing after Trudeau made this ridiculous statement, this is what prompted Pierre to challenge him, call him a liar, tell him to release the names, and he even released a formal letter to Trudeau. Ian Todd, which David Atkin mentioned, who's the head chief of staff for the leader of the opposition, reposted Pierre's letter saying, "My message to Justin Trudeau is..." Now, it's a little bit small. I can leave the link there. But on the CTV power panel, whatever they call it, the front bench, they were talking about this, talking about the foreign interference, this news that was released. Some of them were trying to point this back at Pierre, saying that he is responsible for this. But in the end, they all came to the conclusion that this basically falls on Trudeau's shoulders. He can point fingers to whoever he wants, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with him.
Well, that was Prime Minister Justin Trudeau today at the public inquiry into interference, saying that he has names of Conservative parliamentarians who are, quote, engaged or at risk of foreign interference. He also called out Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre just there for not getting the required security clearance to get briefed on matters of intelligence. Now, in response, Pierre Poilievre has released a statement that says, in part, my message to Justin Trudeau is release the names of all MPs that have collaborated with foreign interference. But he won't, because Justin Trudeau is doing what he always does. He is lying, says Pierre Poilievre. Marika, let's start with you. Now, the Prime Minister has been pretty guarded about this subject in the past and talking about what he knows and what he doesn't know. Not today, though.
Yeah, it's interesting what he chooses to disclose and not disclose. We've pressed for lots of information about his own party that has been shielded under national security claims. And then today he levels this accusation at the Conservatives in an open setting on live TV, really, because we know every network is airing this. And I don't think it goes anywhere other than to drag this debate further down into the mud. The Conservatives do not have high ground to stand on in this case, but neither does he. He had this information for years and doesn't appear to have acted in any meaningful way until my colleagues at the Globe and Mail, Bob Fife and Steve Chase, started getting these leaks and pushing this information out there to the public. And then there were responses. And I would say that we have learned a lot about just how severe this issue is since then. But the Prime Minister has not shared now the same level of detail that he has on the Conservatives on his own party. All that said, we already knew there was interference in the Conservative Party leadership race. There is more pressure now on Pierre Poilievre to get the briefings, to get fully informed. If he's accusing the Prime Minister of not acting, how can he not do everything he can to also act?
Now, as much as I agree that action needs to be taken to find out who these individuals are, Pierre has made it very clear that he doesn't want to get this a security clearance because it will pigeonhole him and stop him from actually being able to announce or talk about all this information. Now, Jagmeet and all of them have said that it doesn't stop them, that they still can speak freely. However, none of them have still named anybody. They haven't given any names of any MPs in any party, and now Trudeau's doing this, which to me seems like another distraction from the STDC scandal, from the documents that they haven't been sending. He just did that with the whole India thing. He's just piling on the distractions and trying to take away from the important matters that Canadians are trying to get information to. And the names of the MPs is definitely one of them, and he has full power to release them, as even the next guest is going to be talking about.
Saeed, do you think it's going to be possible to get any kind of cross-partisan cooperation now on foreign interference, now that we're here clearly in the political weeds and in the political mud?
It's tough to say. I honestly think that when it comes to foreign interference, because it's such a huge issue and also very politically sensitive when it comes to what can be disclosed publicly, what can't, especially when there is a federal investigation and CSIS is involved. But the political jabs that Trudeau is throwing at Poilievre, Poilievre's throwing at Trudeau, it really does not get down to the brass tacks of things, which is if our sovereignty was compromised in any way through foreign interference, that is a major challenge. Who does the buck stop with at the end of the day when it comes to these issues occurring? It stops with the Prime Minister of Canada. So the fact of the matter is, Trudeau was in charge during the time that this report came out and during the time that these accusations were leveled as well. And he's going to have to wear a lot of these challenges and aware a lot of the outcomes of this report as well. And lobbying accusations across the aisle and talking about security clearances for the opposition, I just don't think it's going to hold much weight, especially when it comes to voters as well.
And you know, I 100% agree with pretty much everything that guy said. I don't really like the lobbying of attacks back and forth. It's just political theater to me. It's just fluff. We want to get down to, as you said, the brass tacks of everything. If you have the names, release them, and then deal with the individuals once you know you have that information. If you're claiming that these allegations are true, or that you actually have individuals who are dealing with foreign interference, and that's affecting the sovereignty of our country as well as our democracy and all that stuff, then yeah, name them and get them the hell out. Charge them, put them behind bars, or whatever you need to do. But don't just say there, he didn't get clearance, so I'm not going to say anything. Everybody else knows, but we're not going to say anything. Like, how is that helping anybody? How is that benefiting anybody? And I get it. It's election season. You most likely are just thinking about keeping your spot, your riding. The Liberals aren't doing great right now, so anything will help. But if you're so concerned about our democracy and you say you're doing this for Canadians, you're trying to protect Canadians, you're trying to listen to Canadians, then release the names. Get rid of these people, deal with them now, not later, when more foreign interference that you claim has already happened will potentially happen. But as always, this is just my opinion. Love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you thought about all this in the comment section below. If you could, I'd really appreciate the subscribe. Always helps out the channel. But as always, I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks so much.